Hey there, welcome to Takeaway with Sam Oches, a podcast from Nation's Restaurant News. I am Sam Oches, editor-in-chief here at NRN, and this is the show where I give you an all-access pass to the restaurant industry's most influential decision makers. This week I'm talking with Denise Pedini. She is the Chief Marketing Officer for Newks Eatery. Newks is a fast casual concept based in Jackson, Mississippi, with about 100 locations across the Southeast. And just this week, they announced a rebrand fashioned around the tagline, "Extra with every bite." Denise joined the podcast to talk about the tagline and the rebrand, what extra means to Newks, and how the concept is updating its digital marketing strategy to appeal to both customers new and old. In this conversation, you'll learn more about why the value message still resonates as a traffic driver, how loyalty programs are a cheat code for brand evolution, and why the marketing and IT fields are fusing into one guest experience function. Jumping now into my interview with Denise Pedini, the Chief Marketing Officer of Newks Eatery. Don't forget to stick around after the interview as I will share my 5 takeaways from this discussion, actionable insights that you can take with you on the go. Okay, I'm here with Denise Pedini, the Chief Marketing Officer for Newks Eatery. Denise, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for taking some time today.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely. So Newks, what's this brand all about? Fast casual company. I've had the pleasure of being there a few times. I know really elevated quality food, but for those who have not had a chance to visit a Newks, give us the spiel on what's it all about.
Sure. So Newks is mostly in the Southeast region. We are a fast casual brand. We sell items like sandwiches and salads and pizzas, and we even have our famous Newks cakes, which are made in our own Newks bakery in Oxford, Mississippi, which are made every day and shipped to the restaurants. Newks was founded by Chris Newcomb, and Chris Newcomb was one of the original founders of McAllister's. And so he sold McAllister's years ago and then now created the Newks brand. And Newks is named after his nickname from Chris Newcomb. So we're actually going to be turning 20 next year. So we're going to be celebrating our 20th anniversary. We have about 100 locations, like I said, in the Southeast, and it's a wonderful brand. And we have a fan base that's like a cult that really loves us, and we're very appreciative, and we're hoping to get some new guests in our restaurants.
Yeah, we're going to get into how you guys are trying to do that. But before we do that, you mentioned the cakes. What are some other things that Newks really hangs its hat on? What's the promise of this brand of why people should go to Newks instead of other fast casual companies?
So what's unique about Uniques and sets us apart from our competitors is really our flavors, our fresh herbs and spices. We use chili oils in our products, but I think the number one thing that guests really point out, which is different from some of the other fast casual deli brands, is that we have premium proteins. So we have a 6-ounce salmon fillet that goes on a salad. We have shrimp. We have steak. We have our chicken that we roast in-house every morning. And we're also bringing, surprise, this is a secret thing that's coming in a couple of weeks, but I will tell you, we're bringing back roast beef, which is an item that we had taken away because of COVID. And now bringing it back, which is one of the favorites of the brand. So I would think those are the things that we get called out for. Again, our cakes, our desserts. We have pizzas that we make fresh in-house. So I think that's really kind of the big call out for Newks. We also, every time you go to a Newks, like you said, you've been there before, is we have an open kitchen. So you can see our chefs making your order as you order it. So I think that's what we're most known for.
Sure. Out of curiosity, the roast beef, why did you have to pull it from the menu because of COVID? What was the reasoning behind that?
It's a supply chain issues at the time. And
Gotcha.
after that, we are ready to bring it back in a big way. And so that's one of our big promotions that we're launching in a couple of weeks.
Very exciting. So if I'm to guess, because I mean, Nukes, these are bigger boxes than a lot of fast casuals, bigger footprints, and with a high quality level of the menu. I imagine you're doing a lot of dine-in business. This seems like it's maybe
Yeah.
you guys compare or even compete more so with some full service casual chains even than fast casual. Is that right?
Yeah, both. I mean, I would see us compete not only competing against Panera and McAllister's, but in Jason's Deli, but also competing against a Chili's because we do have those premium proteins. Yeah, we are a bigger footprint, and with COVID and right after COVID, we saw our digital sales increase and our dine-in decrease, like most brands. But when we have come back from that. We have seen a jump in our dine-in business, and we're seeing about 70% of that dine-in business come back, with 30% in online right now.
Gotcha. Okay, so all of this really leads us to what you guys have announced this week, as folks are listening to it, will be this week, which is you're announcing a rebrand, and I know this rebrand is kind of designed around this concept of extra. Tell me about this announcement, this campaign you guys are undergoing, and what's the deal with this sort of extra notion?
Yeah, so this has been about 18 months in the making. We went and did quantitative and qualitative research to our guests, and we just went and asked them, what do you love about Newks? What would you change about Newks? And, what are the things that you keep coming back to Newks? So if I were to tell someone that has never been to a Newks before, what are the key things that you would say to that person? And they kept coming back with all the little extras, quote unquote, that we give that no one else does. So we give, extra flavor. Like I said, again, we use fresh herbs and spices in our recipes. We give extra in as far as protein, premium proteins like the salmon, steak, and shrimp that I mentioned. We also give free customization, so you can customize anything that you order on the menu. And you can also, we have in every restaurant, you'll see a condiments table where you can add cheese and garlic and croutons to your meal free of charge. And that gives that extra kind of customization and flavor that you like. We also give away, our drinks are all 32 ounces. They're not 16 or 20 ounces. They're all 32 ounces. And not only do you pay the price as some of the same price as a 16 or 20 ounce in other brands, but you also get a collectible cup. I actually have a sample. So you see, here's a cup, and it's collectible, and it's reusable. You can use it for different things in your house. I know I use it to fill up my coffee machine, but it's something that guests love, of our brand. And to kind of sum it all up, we also go the extra mile in service. And that's one thing that we mentioned in our guests. If we don't make their item correctly, we will do what it takes to make it correctly. And so I think that all those little words of extra that we give just kind of summed up and said, you know what, we need to tell and communicate to guests that have never visited us before that we're extra with every bite. And so that's where we came up with that tagline.
Very cool. By the way, kudos for being, I think, maybe my first guest to have a prop. I really appreciate that. I need to tell people to bring more props to these podcasts. That's going to be anybody who's just listening to this on the podcast. They're missing out. You got to go check this out on YouTube. So getting into the campaign, some of the specifics of this campaign a little bit. How is extra showing up? Tell me about some of the ways, some of the touch points of this campaign. Obviously, in your marketing materials, you're communicating extra, but in the restaurants, on social, how are you really communicating that notion of extra?
Yeah, so we did two brand commercials that guests will see, and all over our digital media buys on streaming services with our over the top advertising that really kind of lays out exactly what I told you in the commercial and how we give extra. And it's really kind of playing on that flavor, that quality, that extra sauce. We are known for our Q sandwich, which has a lot of sauce on it. And it's really kind of just communicating that visually and showing them all the little extras that we give them. And, we will be doing that on social media. We're changing our website. We're changing our app. We heard from guests that our app was had some issues. It took them a long time to order. So we made all those different modifications, enhancements. We've added gift cards to our app so you can buy and send a gift card to your friends and family. That's a little extra thing that we gave them. And, it's just a big kind of refresh, rebrand. We have new uniforms, new packaging to really explain all the different things that we can give to the guests that Newks can provide.
Yeah, and I'm curious about what you hope it ultimately communicates to the guest because I can't, I don't envy your job really because getting the attention of the consumer today when not only are they so distracted, but also they have so many different options for their restaurant occasions. I mean, just getting their attention and getting them to pay attention and then actually take an action, which is come into the restaurant or order
Mhm.
online or whatever that might be. That's difficult. That's asking a lot. So I guess what I'm wondering is, what do you hope extra ultimately communicates to the guest? How do you hope that gets their attention?
Well, I think it's perfect timing with the economy right now, and people are really price conscious. And so they're really looking at what they're getting for their money's worth. And we have items like we have a salmon Caesar salad that has a 6-ounce portion of salmon under $14. I mean, that is a meal that you can eat all in one sitting, or you can save it for dinner because we give really big portions on our salads. And it's really just not only the love and attention and the extra flavor and quality that I talked about, but you can get all of that at a reasonable price. And I think that's really important right now, and is making us different from our competitors.
I mean, that's the notion of value, right? And I've actually
Yeah.
had this conversation a lot recently with people. It feels like value, it's becoming more and more important, particularly as the economy struggles to get back going and inflation continues to be a thing. But there are so many different elements to value today that didn't exist the last time we were talking about value, which was coming out of the Great Recession. And, that one was all about discounting and,
Right.
coupons and all that stuff. Now, the concept of value anymore is, I don't know. It's a lot bigger of an idea, and I'd argue that it also includes a lot of the experience and how
Yep.
easy it is to order and accessibility.
Right.
There's so many other things that come back around to value, I guess. But tell me about your notion of value. How is Nukes really positioning in itself as a value chain without getting caught up in the notion of value being cheap?
Yeah. So we really first start with the food, right? So value in the quality of the product you're getting, right? So that's where the fresh herbs like basil and cilantro come into play, and chili oils on your pizza. So that's something different, but it's that flavor and quality, right? As also portion size. So one thing that we're going to be communicating is, oh, you get a 6-ounce sandwich, you get 8 shrimp, and they're big shrimp on your salad, not the little small shrimp that you see some places giving you. So there's a sense of value in the quality of the item, the portion size, the experience that you're getting, like on the website and the app, to make it very easy to order. But also, we're exploring, ways that people can save money by introducing some family meal deals. So right now we have a family meal deal of 2 pizzas and a salad for $20. And that alone, we've seen traffic go up in that. We really promote it on the weekends, Friday nights, Saturdays when people are watching college football, or on Sundays with the NFL. And we've seen an uptick in pizza because of that. So we're really looking at the quality, the portion size, but we're also looking at price. So we're looking at family meal deals. We're also testing combo deals. If you are looking for something under $10, we're testing a deal right now in some locations where you can get half a sandwich, a side, and a drink for $9.99. It's our combo deal. So we're looking at all aspects of value to increase that traffic in sales during this time.
For sure. Yeah. People will be tired of me talking about this, but I always think of value in the relation to, I have two little kids
Yeah.
so much of value to me is how much did you alleviate my stress?
Oh,
Because like dining with children, the price
yes.
point of dining with children, I almost don't even care how much I'm paying if you can easily and
Mhm.
efficiently move me through the line and make my
Yes.
kids happy. So there's
Yes.
so many different notions of value today. So anyway, it seems like that must resonate with you too.
Oh, yeah. So I'm a mother of two. I have two teenagers now, but they were little and I was in exactly in the same boat as you. Where can I go that one, they always chose the restaurant because if they didn't have nuggets or a pizza or a burger, then we wouldn't have a good experience or a good meal. But what we do at Newks for kids, especially and for families, we have a big family following specifically on the weekends. Is we provide different options for them, but our number one seller to get those kids in is we have the free breadsticks. They're the
Uh,
crunchy breadsticks on the condiment station. You can get as many as you want, and that keeps the kids entertained before their meal gets there. So that's one of the
Perfect.
things that
Yeah,
we do.
that's clutch. Having something to distract them, that's clutch. I
Right.
mean, these are little details that people don't
Right.
always think about, but makes a lot of sense. So, if I were to sort of step back and look at things a little bit more from the macro perspective, you mentioned that it's been 18 months that you've been working on this campaign. Of course, if we look 18 months ago, what was happening in the industry and in the world, things were a lot different back then, but still facing a lot of the challenges that we faced back in 21 and 22, including again, inflation and labor issues and supply chain challenges and, cost conscious consumers and all those things. But I guess, again, from a macro level, stepping back a little bit, what do you hope this new campaign, what kind of direction do you hope it points Nukes? Because you've not clearly not made this investment lightly. You hope that this kind of takes the brand in a certain direction long term. What do you think that direction is?
So, it's funny when I've been at Nukes for 2.5, almost 3 years. And when I was interviewing for this role, I didn't know what Nukes was. I had one that was 10 miles away from me and I'd always driven by and I would see the logo and I didn't understand what that restaurant was. And so when I started interviewing, I went to the restaurant every day for 2 weeks and tasted the entire menu when I was interviewing. And I said, this is an incredible brand. Why have I not heard about it? Right.
Hmm.
So I immediately saw things that I could do as a marketer to change that. One of the things they didn't have too was any kind of digital marketing here. So that's one of the things that I brought to the table, as well as a loyalty program. That was the whole reason I was hired. So I immediately saw they had a big cult fan base and they wanted a loyalty program. And so we got that and launched it about a year and a half ago. But, those are the things that, kind of where it started and wanting to do this rebrand. It's first I wanted to do all this research that hadn't been done and see why maybe new guests don't know about us. One, they weren't being communicated to because they didn't have any kind of digital marketing in place, and we fixed that. But once we did that, I was like, what is it that I need to tell them that's so great about us? And I got all this information from our guests, our loyal guests. We even pulled guests that haven't been to us in a while to learn about why they haven't been to Nukes in a while. And it was mostly, quality issues or their favorite item wasn't on the menu because we did have to optimize the menu during COVID and take things off because of supply chain issues. Now we've really looked at the menu as a whole and looked at mix numbers and say, we should keep some items, we should remove some items. And we are now at a great menu today that our guests love, but there's some things that they still want back, like the roast beef. And that's why we're bringing that back. We have an awesome French dip sandwich that we are bringing back. In a couple of weeks. So we're super excited about that. But it's really also communicating to those new guests and say, we need to increase traffic like everybody else that is, dealing with the economy today and traffic numbers going down, is really to get new people to understand what a great brand we are, a meal solution, not only for a single person, a coworker going out with their friends during lunch, but also with that family and kids, and just providing options for everyone. And so I think that's kind of the real focus of why we're doing this. It's a lot of things. It's to tell new people what we're about, to really communicate, hey, don't forget about Newks. Look at all the extra stuff you get, and you can afford it too. So why go to other places? Come to us. So I think we're going to be able to do a lot with this rebranding, and also too technology wise with our website and our app, and being able to enhance that for a better experience online. So we're excited, and we're ready to get started, ready to hopefully see traffic and sales go up too. So
Sure. I'm really glad you brought up the loyalty program. Loyalty and marketing feel more and more sort of integral to each other. And so I'm wondering, you mentioned that when you came in, you kind of brought this idea of having a loyalty program. How was the process in standing up that loyalty program? And ultimately, what is the Nukes loyalty program? How does it work? And how are you guys investing in that aspect of the business to, again, sort of push Nukes in the direction you want to go in?
yeah, so I've been in the loyalty business for majority of my career. I back in the 90s, I started at a loyalty firm called Brierley and Partners, and they were the pioneers of loyalty agencies, mainly in the hospitality space with airlines and car rentals like Hertz, and even Blockbuster Rewards. I know that's dating me, but I worked on that account. So when I worked there, I said, I know this is going to be big for the restaurant industry someday. So I really kind of learned as much as I could about loyalty. And so as I've moved into the corporate side of the world in my career, loyalties have been a big player in the restaurant business. I actually spoke on stage at FS Tech last week here in Dallas, and really talked about, how necessary it is to have a loyalty program, but to do it right. That's how you're going to get that personalized customer data and that segmentation, to be able to communicate to that guest, and make them understand, um, you know that we love them, and we thank them for their business and keep coming back for more. And we got new recipes coming out, so there's this whole big communication pool of ideas that we can give to the guests, and utilize them for even surveys, and say, hey, we're thinking about bringing a buffalo chicken sandwich, would you guys be interested in that? We actually did that. They said no, so we did not bring that sandwich into our restaurant. So there's many ways we can utilize it. And I always say, find the best loyalty programs out there and see what they're doing. And I really love the Chick-fil-A loyalty program and their app. And it's so easy. It's very easy to use. You spend $1, you get 10 points. And, they have different tiers for, different, how big of a guest and consumer you are with them. But that's what we based our loyalty program, honestly, is the best of the best. I said we need something like Chick-fil-A. $1 equals 10 points that the guests can figure out. Didn't know how to figure out a math equation just to get how many points they were spending with us or accumulating with us. And so we make it very simple. We say, X amount of points equals a free drink and a free pizza and a free meal. And it's very simple. And we do great things, like things that other restaurants I don't see doing is one of the things that I talked about, where I see kind of the future of loyalty, and kind of what we're doing today is we are getting with our partners like Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is partners with Norwegian Cruise Line. So this summer we offered a cruise, a 7-day cruise for two, anywhere you wanted to go, and we didn't pay a dime for it. We partnered with Coca-Cola and Norwegian and put them on all of our advertising, and we were able to offer this great sweepstakes. And that provided acquisition for our loyalty program, but it also got our biggest fans engaged this summer and coming in, because every time you made a purchase, you got one entry into the cruise contest. So that drove up meals and drinks for Coca-Cola. So it worked very well for everybody.
Wow, that's really cool. I love this example you just gave of the buffalo chicken sandwich, because I think what it illustrates is that you can't be all things to all people, and it's interesting because right now that's hard to figure out, right? Because there's just so much going on in the industry. There's so much noise, and especially when it comes to like digital, there are a lot of bells and whistles out there, but just because
Mhm.
they're out there doesn't mean that you should be using them, right? So again, using this notion as listening to your guests, knowing what they want to do and want to use, how does that affect Newk's plunge into the digital world? Because you're clearly overseeing a lot of that. But if I were to guess, you've got a lot of families. I'd guess you probably even skew a little older in your demographic based on the menu. So maybe they don't want all these bells and whistles. What's the right balance you're trying to strike?
So that's funny. This morning, I actually had a strategy call with Punch, who's our loyalty provider, and we're really going through our data right now. And we're looking at age groups, we're looking at um, frequency of visits, and the way the old world was, or people still doing today, we're still doing it today. We won't be in 30 days because we're doing this big strategy on segmentation. Is that you send one email to everybody in your database, right? It says, oh, we got a new sandwich, right? What is that really doing? It's not really talking to that guest and what they're interested. Say, I only go to Newks for salads. Why would I be interested in this email? And then you're sending all this email and paying all this money. So where we're getting to the point is we are sending customized emails to segments of our database that makes sense. Who's our probably price conscious group? Is it in the 16 to 20-year olds, and maybe the 65 plus groups are really looking for the combo deals? Maybe we're sending combo deals and coupons to that group. And maybe those people that are coming most frequently really care if we're going to have a new product or not. So it's really sending them emails. Hey, we got this new product we'd like you to try. So we utilize our rewards members. We know they signed up with us, they love us, they're coming to us. Sometimes they're lapsed, so we got to reel them back with a sweet little offer to get them back to come to us. But it's really kind of understanding who we're talking to. One of the things that we were talking about this morning was lapsed users. We have some people that haven't been to us in 6 months. Well, one of the things I'm looking at is that I said, let's look at if it's coming from one location, or, is a cluster coming up for different locations? Because that way, if that's true, then there's something wrong with the restaurant. Maybe the manager, maybe it's not clean, maybe their food is not up to par, and we can really focus on that. So it's unbelievable what you can do with the loyalty program. I know that I've had the bosses in the past that says, oh, we're just giving free items to the guests that are already coming to us,
Hmm.
and we're just oversaturating them. They're getting discounts, but yeah, maybe the first year when you launch a loyalty program, you're trying to figure who our customers are. It's all about acquisition and getting that data. Now we're in year two, so now we're really looking at who is coming to us, how often is coupons driving them in, or is new product emails driving them in. So it's amazing what you can figure out by doing that, and that helps us too when we're doing our digital ad placements through social media. We can't afford network TV because we're 100 stores and we're not completely saturated in a DMA. So what we're doing is we're on YouTube TV, Hulu, and streaming services that are very targeted around our restaurants in the zip code. And we can also utilize that data that we're getting from loyalty to really focus on it. For example, if I have a problem in Chattanooga, I see loyalty people are lapsing. Well, then I'm not going to go spend money to do commercials on streaming services in Chattanooga until we fix that restaurant. So there's a lot of things that you can do. You just kind of really need to focus and look at the data properly, and then how to utilize it.
Gosh, you as a marketer, I mean, it almost feels like a cheat code to have the data that you get from a loyalty program, right?
It is. And there's a lot of people that haven't even launched a loyalty program. I spoke at Meg earlier this year and I did a roundtable discussion. I was amazed at some of the big brands that you probably recognize that don't have a loyalty program. A lot of it's they don't know how to get started. And a lot of it is also this finance or CEOs and CFOs saying, hey, we're just going to discount our normal customers. We don't want to lose that money. But they don't really are not kind of engaged or involved in really looking at what you can do. And some of the smart people that have done loyalty programs before knows how it could really increase traffic, because that's the goal of loyalty. The goal of loyalty is not to give away free stuff. The goal of loyalty is to get them to come more often than they did. And that was one of our challenges in the first year. We wanted our strongest loyalty people or favorite or fans to come in at least 2 times a month. And we achieved that goal. But it's really, targeting with special emails and really trying to get them in to come in. And one of the things that we've done is a frequency challenge. We said, okay, if you come in 3 times a month in the month of October, we will give you a free pizza at the end of the month. We've done that every kind of challenge every quarter for the last 3 quarters. And when we do that challenge for that month, we've seen about 10 to 15,000 guests that have come in to our restaurant that has never come in 3 times a month. So
Hmm.
that's the kind of things that you can do. You just really need to understand it. You need to have a good loyalty partner that has a good strategy team that can really work with your data and help you through the process.
I love that. I mean, that's kind of like gamifying it, right? I know gamifying has become kind of a notion in the
That's
restaurant industry, sort of setting those challenges, as you said. And to that end, a question I'm curious is like where you see the opportunity in marketing going forward. What are some of the trends in marketing that you see today that you're really excited about, and which of those do you think might be applicable to the Newks business sometime in the future?
sure. So I think we're different. We're a smaller brand. We have 100 stores, so our budgets are a lot smaller than some of the big brands. So you have to be really creative in what you do. And I have a great team. I have 6 people on my team, and it's small, but they're all experts of what they do. And I have 2 designers. We do everything in house. We don't have any agencies. We did have an agency that helped us with this new branding. They're called White Unicorn in Dallas. Want to give them a shout out because they've been amazing. They helped us with our logo and look and feel and our website, and so they've been great partners with them, working with them. But it's the team is really focused on we do everything in house. We do have 2 designers on my team, but I don't have a copywriter. So we've been utilizing the AI technology with Chat GPT to help write some of our headlines of our emails and things that we kind of need. So I see Chat GPT and a lot of AI technology, and I've seen some brands already utilizing some of the design and art. I see that kind of helping brands do something different in content. That's where I see that today. I see more people advertising on streaming devices like we are, versus network TV. I think it's like I read it was 60% of the population are still on network TV, but 40% is on some type of streaming service like YouTube TV or Hulu that get their news from. So I think there's a lot of different things that are coming out with social media as well. I don't think that's going away anytime soon. With content and different types of content. So I'm excited about the different technology. I've been able to touch technology since the beginning of my career, and I've always enjoyed what we can do. I've always been a curious person. And I was talking to someone at FS Tech last week, another CEO, and I was saying, I don't think there's going to be a marketing and IT department in the future. I think there's going to be a guest experience department where it's technology and marketing are meshed together because
Mm.
we're playing in that game already. I mean, I when I started at Newks, I started as a senior VP of guest experience. So I was over marketing and tech, the IT team here at Newks. We promoted our head of IT. He's incredible, Adam Carveller. He's now our chief technology officer. So now I'm in that CMO role over marketing. But we work and talk to each other every single day. and marketing is technology now. So that's kind of what I feel that's coming soon. Um, in the in
That's
the
a
world. So,
Yeah, that's a really interesting insight and is both an opportunity and terrifying. I think
yeah.
probably a lot of marketers out there are a little bit terrified about that. What and kind of related to that, I guess I would say is what's keeping you up at night? I mean, obviously some of that stuff is scary because it's unknown, but you can kind of tackle it. But there must be some things that are genuine challenges to you as a marketer in 2023. What are those things?
The thing that's keeping me up at night, except for my two teenagers driving me a little crazy, but what's keeping me up at night is traffic. We're really trying to focus on what is happening with the traffic, in our restaurant. And it's a lot of my peers. I'm very fortunate. I have a big network of a lot of women CEOs and CMOs in my network. We kind of grew up together in the Yum brand years ago. But we always call each other. We have dinner once a month, and we talk about what are your challenges, what are you guys facing, and the common theme is traffic. And so I think that's something that keeps me up at night and really trying to focus. Is it price? Is it item? Is it combination of family deals to help that guest get through what we're going through in the world right now? What motivates them to come in more often? Service can we provide the guests to have them come in more often at Newks? And so I think that's kind of the challenge right now. And I know I'm not the only one, but it's really kind of be inventive. And, is it also looking at other marketing tactics and marketing tools that we haven't thought of to reach that guest? So that's kind of our challenge. My boss, Frank Pacey, CEO of Newks, love him to death. He, challenges me every day. Denise, how we need to get up traffic, get traffic up. What can we do? So that's kind of the big thing right now.
Well, it seems like your new campaign, it's kind of on the right track to be
Yes,
one of those
crossing
answers, right?
fingers. Yes, I think that's going to bring a lot of attention to the brand. We also have a new promotion starting a week apart, so I'm looking for some big traffic and sales numbers in October.
Well, it's very exciting. Well, Denise Pedini, the Chief Marketing Officer of Newks Eatery. Thanks so much, Denise, for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sam. Thanks for having me.